was present at the time. I want to bring in really quickly Ari Melber. He is our senior legal analyst here at MSNBC. Ari, the presence of what she's saying are corroborating witnesses, the detail in this encounter, the fact that it took place 10 years ago, but all of the detail that she's put on the table, does this make this accusation, in your view, different in some way from the others?
This accusation is somewhat different, although it is important for the public record that there are some similar behavior patterns here that are being alleged. We haven't confirmed them. Obviously, we're processing this new. It is notable that while Ms. Allred and this individual making the accusation said there were discussions at the time with others, they are not today making those other people available. From a legal perspective, that makes this a weaker case, if you will, as compared to some of the people who have put forward corroborating witnesses who basically were able to confirm the discussions or allegations about Mr. Trump that occurred then and that thus occurred absent a political campaign and the other questions that are around now. The other thing I would add is there is safety in numbers. There may be a dynamic here where additional people come forward and have said for their own reasons this is one of their explanations because they don't have to be the only one. It is certainly not legally relevant that this young woman worked in adult film. That would not legally go towards the analysis of consent. The analysis of whether there was unconsented contact would be about what happened, not her job, whether she's a doctor or an actress or something else. But we all know beyond the law that that is the kind of thing that can be held against people in the court of public opinion. So we could imagine some people not wanting to come forward if that's their background. Now, as the number creeps up to 11, there are a lot of different individuals alleging somewhat similar fact patterns. There's still a lot we don't know, Joy.
Yeah. And Ari, one last question for you before I let you go. This threat by Donald Trump to sue the women who have made allegations against him. Obviously, Jessica Drake came forward after that threat was made. She indicated she did hear the speech that he made in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. What would that entail? Because as Gloria Allred pointed out, if he sues them, they can countersue him as well. What could, in theory, happen? And would it be without consequence for Donald Trump to try to sue these women?
Well, Joy, you're exactly right. That was the other big legal headline today. Donald Trump on the campaign trail saying he will sue each and every one of these accusers. He said he'll do it after the election. There's no legal reason to delay a suit like that if he feels that he is being essentially defamed and libeled. And it would be a very high-risk strategy if he did it. As someone who covers the law and covers Donald Trump's forays with the law, I can tell you he threatens to sue far more often than he actually does. It is something of a tactic for him or something of crying wolf, although he also is, to be clear, involved in a lot of litigation, including litigation that he and his companies have started. So he both threatens a lot and sues a lot and also doesn't sue sometimes. Having said all that, the core of your question, the answer is he would be putting himself in tremendous risk if he sued any of these women because he would be bringing these issues to court where they would be addressed under oath with his testimony and others and depositions and other proceedings under oath. And perhaps most importantly for Mr. Trump, given that much of this started with a video, he would potentially bring out material that is currently not legally available, such as outtakes from The Apprentice, which are currently under a kind of seal under valid contracts. But were they necessary to resolve a case he started about defamation, a judge might very well order those tapes opened up to see what they find. One of the accusers, for example, is indeed a former Apprentice contestant. So I would be, as a lawyer and a reporter who follows this, very surprised if Donald Trump or his lawyers actually let him go through and sue these individual women. It would extend the case, and as a legal matter, it would be not unlike some of what we saw surrounding Bill Cosby, where his attempts to sue or silence accusers certainly backfired as they brought more legal proceedings and attention to him. My comparison there not being, of course, to the underlying conduct alleged, but only being to the thought of someone facing an accusation, suing their accusers, and how that all unfolds, Joy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do know that at least in one of the Cosby cases, 13 of the women who ultimately came forward, or 13 women who I guess were alleged to be in some way victims of Bill Cosby, were actually witnesses in one of the lawsuits that he settled with one of those accusers. So this legal process can bring about discovery that sometimes is unexpected. Ari Melber, thank you very much. I want to take a break. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. We've been in some extended